the choice in games 1, 3, and 5. P1 got the choice here and in game 4. And in all cases, the teams have chosen blue. So P1's their turn.
All right, if you ban Jarvan and don't do anything about the Gragas, then I get some question marks popping up. So we'll see if they do that this time around. Because if you don't, Dardoch's very happy to just pick up the Gragas again. I mean, a lot of the ex-CLG junglers or current CLG junglers even, Tony was talking about trying to make them all one-trick Gragas players.
Yep.
Dardoch definitely has a lot of time on that champion and showed up very big on it. We'll see though. Gnar going to be off the table as far as Lourlo is concerned as well.
Yeah, this is always interesting because it was a phase 2 ban last game. Of course, okay, P1's blue side, they have arguably more freed up bans, but there's 2 points to it. One of it is switching sides and having freed up bans. The other is showing Liquid, no, we really care about your Gnar. We won't let you pick it here in the first phase anymore, and really putting a lot of priority on not letting Lourlo get that champion against Sig.
Ooh, we're going to delve down into the AD carry pool as well.
Yep,
I like getting kind of past this tier 1. Still going to remain with that Corki ban, no surprise.
They're going to be able to blind Thresh for Xpecial. Certainly has been a highly sought after support even after the changes, and that's going to be coming in. We've seen the squad jot down their picks and bans and everything else. We will see what Liquid wants to answer with. As you mentioned, that Gragas is available.
It's interesting because given how kind of low priority Phoenix1 have had on it, you might consider letting it through, but I feel like it would be an easy steal if you did not grab it up for Dardoch, so they're going to nab it here, as well as securing the Kog'Maw with all the AD carry bans coming through. Yeah. This is one that, it's funny because at different times, at different stages in the patch, people have been like, this AD carry is OP, no, this one's OP, no Kog'Maw, like, this is definitely going to be an Ardent Sensor. I think it just pairs so incredibly well with the champion.
Right.
Maybe we'll see that again from Matt.
And assuming that Liquid wants to keep playing these Protect the Piglet compositions, I think this draft order makes sense. You want Dardoch on a very comfortable tank, and honestly, there's enough that Matt can pick that's not Lulu. Again, Janna, Nami, Sona, Taric, Alistar, plenty of options are there. So this, I think, makes the most sense when you consider there will be bans coming in later. Even if they're not things that MikeYeung would steal, he's going to go back to his Elise, which actually I was thinking he would jump to earlier. He's been given the option to play this champion so many times and had passed it up in the last couple of weeks. Now got to bring out some early game power.
Well, he's definitely a fan of the early game and trying to make those proactive plays. We'll see if he can get it off here. Thresh lane, I always love. It's just so easy to gank those lanes. You can go through the lane. You never even have to worry about wards. Lantern-assisted ganks with Elise. You can actually cover the entire distance of the lane with all her mobility. And it definitely makes it easier against something like Kog'Maw that doesn't have any jumps. Braum's going to do his best to protect, but there's only so much he can stand in front of before he dies.
That's true, but we're going to see how well he can do. Xpecial had a great Braum game in the previous one, and we'll see if Matt can replicate that to some degree. Xpecial was victorious with that. A tank in the front line, one for Dardoch as well, and we'll see TL likely to blind a tank, and then last pick for Mickey.
Well, it is nice to have the Braum and the Unbreakable, not only for team fights to protect Kog'Maw, but also to break sieges. They are going to forego that Ardent Sensor that we talked about and everyone's been so hyped on, especially for champions like this that are pure auto attackers, basically. We'll be interested to see how they work around this.
And we're seeing players keep playing to the champion pool. Zig not going to get his Maokai, Lourlo not going to get his Poppy.
The other thing that I kind of want to touch on after the last game is that, Arrow continually playing this Varus. I quite like what he's going for because we could see he had no problem tank busting in the last game. If you use Blight plus Blade of the Ruined King plus early Last Whisper item, which he has been doing, and he only just focuses the front line. He never worries, about the black back line. He stacks up the Blight, gets his triple proc, he's Blade of the Ruined King the entire time with armor penetration, and he's keeping right up there with a late game crit Tristana as far as busting tanks.
Yeah, in the actual team fights, in the actual damage graph last game.
Yes, they were ahead, but...
Yeah. But Piglet had like 1,300 damage per minute over that game. He was like double literally anyone else in the game. But in the actual 5-on-5, yes, I agree. The Varus was keeping up. We'll see if he can do it again in this game. Piglet, the next ban coming in.
Piglet was definitely going nuts in the last game. And actually this entire tournament. Playing very aggressive with his Tristana. We'll see how he plays on the Kog'Maw, because Kog'Maw, without the rocket jump for repositioning, maybe he gets punished more if he goes that aggressive.
Well, this is different. We're having Olaf come through, which I think is going to be Dardoch. So they're going to move Gragas top lane, and they're going to blind the Olaf jungle. I haven't seen much of that at all.
Yeah, Olaf does have some matchups in top side where you can try and go toe-to-toe, but Renekton, definitely very scary, so I would expect Dardoch to be the one in command of the Olaf.
And Zig gonna go back to comfort with 2 more tanks off the table. Has the option of playing Cho, doesn't want to, goes back to the Renekton here. And he's gonna go for the fighter in the top side of the battle with this Gragas. We'll see if that works for him, but that means that Phoenix1's front line, there are no true tanks. Elise, Renekton, and Thresh, none of those are gonna be the hard tank builders. Ryu will be pushed down to his Taliyah now in the mid lane, and it means that Mickey will, in fact, get counterpicked.
Okie dokie here. We've got Renekton Elise combo. Elise plus Taliyah is also an incredibly potent combo. There should be a very active MikeYeung this game. All lanes, viable gank targets. So we're definitely going to keep track of the junglers. We already usually do for the early game specifically, but this is going to be, it's going to require hyper attentiveness here, as this is the core of the Phoenix1 composition.
Yeah, a lot of early game power and quick power spikes. We'll see if they can play a faster game, because that was, a 42-minute game or something like this. It was a long time coming for Phoenix1 to win. Now they kept the early pressure and then continually built advantages with it. But again, you're up against a Braum Kog'Maw bot lane that will eventually be nearly invincible and will shred through your somewhat meager front line. I think the late game is even easier for Liquid in this game than it was in the previous, so we'll see how it scales out. And if that early pressure does come through for Phoenix1, and again, as you mentioned, eyes on MikeYeung. All 8 legs the Elise. Can you make it happen?
Man, sidebar, I just really love this Taliyah pick as well.
Yeah.
She's so good against Olaf, who does not even take flash. It's really easy, to usually land on him. The Kog'Maw and Syndra both are very, high priority targets that you can force summoners out with the champion. So we'll see how accurate Ryu is with his seismic shoves, but he definitely has the potential against a lot of this Team Liquid squad.
We'll see if he can land the shots then. Ryu was a great performer in the first game. We'll see if he can put that performance on yet again. MikeYeung got plenty of pressure in the bot lane as well in the previous. And now on an even more aggressive early game champion, he hopes to replicate that success as well. Let's see what comes into it. Game 2 of the best of 5. Will Phoenix1 get out to a 2-0 start, or will Liquid bounce back quickly on? Let's see what happens. We get ourselves into game 2.
All right, Dardoch on the same team as Reignover, playing the Olaf. Yes, he has done it a long time before, but those two definitely nice to have some camaraderie here in your jungle lineup.
I thought Talisman was more frequent on Olaf, though. Maybe I'm misremembering.
Nah, if you're going to start blue,
okay.
you don't care about mana regeneration, and it gets so much attack speed early. You can go Talisman if you want to do that Raptor start.
Okay, that's the distinction. Okay.
But I would assume that Dardoch is going with this blue start.
Yeah, that's the most frequent one I've seen. We'll see what it actually comes out to be.
It is a good point, though, because there is variation in it.
Okay.
And Raptor start is viable on Olaf, so...
All right. Thank you for the information.
You do get points.
Oh, I appreciate that. I get a point from Kobe. Speaking of points, how many LP do you have right now?
I'm not sure. I actually need to check if I've decayed.
Oh, okay.
Diamond 1, not sure.
Okay. Something high, though.
Wards do go down in the red quadrant, though. So they have kind of paid for this, and Team Liquid will kind of give away that Dardoch is starting on the blue regardless now, since a lot of deep vision from Phoenix1. And one thing you have to worry about on Olaf is Elise has execute damage. If you're getting low in the jungle, Elise is one of the champions that can come punish you at your buffs and go for a kill.
The dueling's very peculiar, because if you don't get the one shot, then your lifesteal tanks you and you die as the Elise. So he's going to get that ward kill. 10 gold to Zig, and they're going to make sure that, nothing's happening here on the Raptors.
Get one of those Raptors.
Yeah, they're going to steal some. That's really cute.
More than one.
The entire small camp, maybe. A lot of extra gold into the squad. That's really nice. I like this P1. I see Zig in that camp more often than most junglers, really, level 1 in LCS games. He is there almost every single game. Like we did there, so Ryu going to have a nice way into his lane. Should be a little bit late, but not bad, actually. Misses no XP.
Oh my god. That is
only missed 1 CS.
That is such a clean level 1 from Phoenix1, and huge reward. He's going to hit level 2 so early. Lourlo's got to take a back seat in this matchup. Sure. Even though it's already a Renekton versus Gragas matchup, now it's a experience-boosted Renekton. Plus, there's an Elise on the enemy team, so you have got to be very careful as Lourlo. Everybody always loves to talk about the dives capable when you have a Renekton Elise combo. They're continuing with the invades here for even more vision. Ryu roaming over after shoving the lane on Taliyah.
Yep.
We'll see what Dardoch does about it, because it's a little bit dangerous. As we said, you know, he's 50% health. Elise, especially if you face check her, certainly has the possibility to take you down. Heals up off the scuttle, though.
All right, he's in a good spot then. So Dardoch does have the level 3. MikeYeung in a similar boat. He clears off the Raptors and looks for his next little bit of prey. Vision control going to be okay for Dardoch, though, and they might. They did not get into a no scuffle to be had. Never mind there on this one. Dardoch would know that at least part of his Raptors were poached, but will still clear the camp out. It'll be a late respawn, of course. He doesn't actually knock down the camp. He's going to go for his red right away.
Definitely wants to secure his buff while he's high health here, it looks like. MikeYeung is going for either a pass at Dardoch or, you know, some deep wards to keep track of that mid lane.
Okay, Dardoch smites to be safe. Yeah, MikeYeung had him on the ward, but he knows the Raptors is clean to take. So the entire camp's going to be counter jungled. Oh, no, he's going to leave up a small one. No, he won't. Okay. He'll have the timer. And Zig actually trying to chase Dardoch out of his jungle, smites the big one, and yeah, Undertow will easily clear the small one's way when it comes back, once he pulls aggro.
So a bit of harassment here against Dardoch, but all it results in the end is the one Raptor camp being taken away. So it doesn't actually affect him. He's level 4 because MikeYeung spent so much time walking over there to basically re-counter jungle a camp that's already been half counter jungled. And Dardoch actually doesn't feel bad about it at all, even though there was a lot of effort put in by Phoenix1 early jungling process.
It's actually really cute. You saw Dardoch actually, he backed oh, that hook though, insane, but nice shield from Matt, you can save. Trade's gonna stop. You actually saw a be careful ping from Dardoch saying, oh, hey, by the way, MikeYeung, he's probably on Wolves right now. He counted CS and actually knew what camps he had taken, and he was right that MikeYeung was in the bottom left corner of the jungle. Dardoch ghosted to get back to this side of the map. He's hoping to gank bot lane with the early Tracker's Knife.
He wants to use his blast cone to jump on Xpecial. He does so.
Gets one slow, gets a second as well. Can they get the stun? Not likely. The Phreak gets him back to safety.
Ooh, that's going to cost the bottom lane as they take a lot of damage in return. Ineffective gank as well as actually overall health bars hurting the Team Liquid bottom lane. Piglet tanked a few minions. Matt got a couple more auto shots.
Yeah, despite Olaf coming in, that was actually not very useful, so not a lot of damage dealt. Ryu and Mickey once again trading blows in the mid lane. +3 for Mickey. Not against the same kind of snowballing champion regardless. Good auto trade by Piglet, trying to punish every CS, the mark of a good player, of course. It is actually still Matt, by the way, bringing a heal yet again. So same summoners as last game, this time without wind speakers. But again, they are trying to make sure Piglet can stay alive and does not need a McHale's this game. But it means TL are exhaustless for the Elise, for the Renekton, for the Taliyah. No Ignite to shut down healing either, which Xpecial does have.
I actually do value that cleanse when you're facing, you know, those champions that you just listed off with the Elise and Renekton and stuff. As far as the exhaust is pretty nice, but if you're going to be able to cleanse the cocoon, then you don't even really need the exhaust. Renekton still would be an issue, but bottom lane, they sense the jungler coming down river, aka they also saw him walk over a ward before it disappeared, and they're going to back off. Good respect there by the Team Liquid bottom lane. MikeYeung was looking for a little bit of a collapse.
And he gets full vision of his bottom jungle, though those camps have already respawned and Dardoch cleared them away. He's back in the top side of the map. So all MikeYeung knows, yep, the camp's already gone. He did clear this a while ago. Not the most useful invade, but at least we'll know if Olaf comes back down to the side. Looking at individual gold marks, pretty close in the junglers, pretty close in the bot laners as well. 700 gold lead in total, though, for P1 in the laning phase. Kind of across the board, small leads for almost everybody here.
Dardoch taking away his Krugs as well is pretty good because Zig keeps, after pushing the lane, looking into the jungle. And the Krugs would be a viable target to counter jungle. Early on, they do a decent amount of damage, so don't want to waste too much on it. But as we progress further, could be a small source of gold for him. Dardoch power farming there on the Olaf. Trying to get to his level 6, so he has his ultimate, and you know you can get that rundown through either lane. Yeah. Gragas is very good at setting up ganks, even though head to toe with Renekton, he'll take a beating. In order to give that beating, Renekton's going to have to be in position for a good Gragas ultimate, and if the Olaf is running down lane, it's pretty easy to chain undertow him.
Well, we can find if they get those chains, and speaking of them, special chains have actually knocked down a lot more minions. Matt only has 3 CS at level 5. He's actually just never used his Relic Shield in lane, which surprises me a bit. He's a little poor as a result. Probably not a game-ending situation, but I guess just felt zoned out of the wave so often. Blue gonna go to Mickey, grabs that before it resets back.
Oh, we've got a 3-man move up to the top side. Ryu cuts off the retreat.
Looking for the dive, but Lourlo pops heal to buy a bit of time. Body's I'm gonna buy a little bit as well. Looking for Zig, he will drop. No summoner heal from Ryu keeps him alive. And MikeYeung getting execute under the turret. Zig gonna survive just barely.
Okay, what about the counterplay on the bottom side? You know when you make a 3-man dive top side, your bottom side is going to be weak and hurting.
Arrow playing back. Mickey's around, and Zig is recalled. He can TP and be at full health.
Oh, Arrow really wants that experience, and he is going to be able to stay in range while evading the dive.
All right.
Love pointing that out, because every time you make a huge power play on one side of the map, you have to be aware of the counterplay from your enemy. They are for a moment. Dardoch's still sticking around, though. There's a lot of members of Phoenix1.
And he realizes this is a bit dangerous. Pops the ulti and pops Ghost. Now, can he time the hook at the right time? Best chance he had. Not going to be getting it. But Dardoch down an ult, down a summoner.
All right. Phoenix1. They make the power play on top side, even though Zig gets super low. They must have communicated, hey, I have the heal for you, or else he wouldn't have flashed there, because he was definitely going to take 2 turret shots, and Ryu is there to save the day. MikeYeung is there to take the gold and get that first kill onto Elise.
Nicely done, and the Snowball may just continue. 1,000 gold lead, and only 600 of that is the assisted first blood. So, again, laning phase leads as well. Plus 20 now for Zig's most played champion of the split. This, I believe, is his 19th. Now Renekton game, something close to that.
Yeah, he's been Renekton and Kled for the most part.
Yeah.
Mickey in the mid lane doing very well for himself, though, even though Ryu has been getting off quite a few roams. Mickey still good CS for himself. Once again, on the Syndra. Get some vision around that mid lane as well, so he can stay safe. MikeYeung takes over the Scuttle Crab, and they've done a decent job pressuring on this bottom side of the map.
Yeah, hasn't turned into a ton, even with Arrow having to back off of the map a little bit. He is up 4 CS in the laning phase. Xpecial 14-5 in the matchup as well. Again, not prioritizing gold too much, but stop talking about that soon enough. You can see a 300 gold difference in supports when they've had the exact same laning phase. Definitely can mean something. Once in a while, it might mean the locket completes and could be meaningful for a team fight. Ryu gonna kite over, though. We've got P1 looking for maybe a 4, even 5-man dive. Zig does have teleport, and TL forced to run. Phoenix1, the more aggressive team, they land the first stun. And a nice seismic shove buys a bit as well. Now the re-engage toward Ryu. Lantern gets into safety. MikeYeung gonna grab a satchel plant, and the blast code and blasts him to safety. P1 don't lose much for the attempt. They do deny a couple of CS.
I just once again want to take count of the wards, the sheer number of wards that Phoenix1 have out on the map. There's a couple of defensive ones there for Team Liquid, but Phoenix1 have definitely been putting in the effort with a lot of the vision, especially on the bottom side. They've got the entire jungle lit up. They have 4 pink wards down on their bottom quadrant, around their bottom lane, around the dragon. Defending plays as well as trying to set up avenues for them to walk through Fog of War. Meanwhile, Zig, you can see from the top lane, every time on Renekton, he pushes the wave in, he goes for a roam. It's a lot of, proactive play here from Phoenix1, trying to stay on the offensive.
They've been doing really well with this one. We'll see if it can continue, because that is the name of the game with their composition. They drafted Renekton, Elise, like all these champions that are supposed to dominate laning phases and get ahead early. They have done so in this one. Mickey, again, doing a well-played job in this mid lane. Up 19, and Zig going to try to build, not actually a freeze. I thought he might have, but they're going to shove as fast as he can. Puts in the AoE, slice and dice, and all the attacks are in. And with the W, can knock down the cannon and get back to his base.
MikeYeung is coming as well with the Elise. They can try and head off the Gragas before he gets to the turret, so he can't get any of that extra defense. They don't have vision on the Syndra, though.
They're going to chase in this one, though. Xpecial, of course, flashless now, but he can hook to the Krugs.
Ooh, the Ghost
Dardoch knows better.
Dardoch as well to go for that. And again, as I said, they do cut off the Gragas from the minion wave, so they're able to get the first turret bonus gold in exchange for an Ocean Drake.
Might not even be that, depending on who else tries to show up. Right now, Piglet's safe to fight Arrow. But yeah, no mid laner showing up as well. Ryu on the top side of the map. I mean, it will be a clean Ocean Drake. There should not be a chance to steal. Mickey there for safety, and not even, actually is going to smite it, just to ensure it all. And a 12-minute Ocean, not bad. This should help the landing phase.
Yeah,
catch up a bit.
I still think that's the right call from Phoenix1 because they're running Snowball. They want more gold early on. To be able to get that first turret bonus gold definitely could go a long way for them. Plus, there's always Rift Herald to answer. And indeed, they're already doing it.
All right, look at that. Gonna keep going for this. Lourlo actually second game in a row. This time even earlier, a Sunfire Cape Rush. So really prioritizing that item for himself when we haven't seen a lot from tanks in the recent past. And look at this objective after objective. MikeYeung got the Scuttle. Or sorry, the Rift Herald. He's gonna get blue over to Ryu pretty easily as well.
The mutated Scuttle.
Yeah, I was almost right.
Lourlo just watching. Doesn't want to take any fights. With the extra gold, you know, Zig here, Black Cleaver's completed. He even has some magic resist in there with the No Magic Mantle, which, by the way, I actually consider a power spike. No Magic Mantle gives you a huge amount of magic resist. A lot of the upgrades, you know, like into the cowl and stuff, will give you health regen and more health and stuff, but the actual hard magic resist,
not up by much.
Yeah, doesn't actually go up unless you're going into a Negatron Cloak and a different direction into Stoneplate or something like that. Say one No Magic Mantle goes a long way.
It does.
In the early game.
Maybe like roughly 15% less magic damage taken when you consider base MR in there as well. From the numbers, certainly it's meaningful. We'll see if he can survive Lourlo continually in this one. He's going towards that Pommy, Syndra, and more. Of course, he didn't go for the landing phase keystone. They encouraged the Colossus much more for the team fight tankiness. Grasp would have helped him with the 1v1.
Oh, Xpecial has no flash, remember?
He's slowed down as well. Moby's getting turned off, but the ulti misses from Matt, and there's no follow-through. Now Hook comes in. Chain of Corruption going to land right now. A lot of damage into Piglet, and here comes the follow-through. Flashes against both walls, gets away, but now Matt has no way out, and MikeYeung on the chase with the Elise gets the kill. A blue buff thrown at him. Mickey grabs that and forced to run, flashes away. And Catherine Surprise has not much damage. Another one for 0. Phoenix1 keeping it doing well.
Oh man, Xpecial's got some slick moves here. Walks right around. He lands the counter hook after evading Team Liquid, and immediately you saw Arrow when he followed. He didn't focus on Matt at all. He didn't even look at Braum. He shoots Piglet right over the wall, able to get the summoners, and they find the kill eventually as well.
This is a really good Rift Hero. This is one of the most ideal summons, I would say, to make sure this turret dies during this wave.
Oh yeah, mid-turret is so critical in trying to get that vision into both sides of the jungle. They're just gonna knock them over like dominoes here. Lot of gold for Phoenix1. This is a huge advantage to be able to snowball with. 15 minutes into the game, a 3-turret advantage in addition, you know, to the kills that they had already gotten. Phoenix1 are again set up so well here versus Team Liquid. Anyways, there's Xpecial. He gets the turnaround kill. Ryu with the wall is actually just so good against Olaf. Dardoch can't do anything but attack the blue buff, and MikeYeung's able to finish up the chase here, find the kill, and he evades the stun from Syndra, not letting Mickey get that counter kill with his Syndra ult.
Beautiful stuff out of this one. You can see the gold lead. 4,000 and change right now. Phoenix1 have really snowballed ahead, and the comp is working. This team is playing better on the day. Matt going more and more defensively. Got the Ruby Sightstone done. Gonna hope he can tank up at the front line, but so far that has not been the case. Ruin King done for Arrow already. Not yet that item for Piglet. Still some time to go. A couple hundred gold till he can complete that one. It's a good snowball for P1 here, helping to close out their summer split today. With a match win, they can just chill out. They'll be done for the year. See if it comes to them in 2018. For another day to figure out. Zig keeps shoving up the top lane, takes away some camps from Dardoch.
Yeah, there's those Krugs we were talking about. He finally gets some. He's got his Tiamat, makes him taking him easier. Red buff as well for himself. Doesn't even have to pay the price. 4 members, though, from Team Liquid are trying to answer on the top side. They actually all start recalls because of how much pressure Phoenix1 have. They can't even mount a counterattack here to get some of the objectives back for themselves. It's a problem when all of your outers go down at the same time. Phoenix1 with the Taliyah continually pushing all 3 lanes and threatening that Taliyah movement.
Here comes the push continued now. A lot of help going off that turret, and yeah, Dardoch now gets the kite to the backside because he would die otherwise on the other side of the wall. The damage continues. This turret almost dies during a single minion wave. In fact, it will. There's just no chance to fight only after the wall falls. As TL try, but the Lantern pulls him to safety. Vanderbilt blocks the Arctic Blast there out of Matt, and now hit up to the Corruption. Ulti comes across the 3, but the health bar is just not there. Stayed too long, gets caught out by the ulti.
I actually really like that hook from Xpecial because Piglet has been so aggressive. He expected Piglet to continue walking into his team. So he threw the hook super shallow.
Nice.
Isn't going to happen this time, but it just kind of goes to show, you know, reading the player you're playing against and their mindset. I've had this debate with a lot of players, how they like to turn nameplates off. I feel like if you're able to kind of control your emotions, then having that extra information should theoretically always be beneficial, trying to profile the person you're playing against. But a lot of them kind of like to reset it to 0 so that you don't make those overcorrections, basically.
Sure. I definitely agree. You can prey on people's tendencies, and you want to know sort of internally who they are. I only turn them off because it's just screen clutter. Because in solo queue, I don't recognize anyone anyway, so whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you know you're playing TSM or P1 on the day, you're just like, well, I know that's Arrow. And you don't need the nameplate to do that.
Much less applicable to you than these.
I don't play on the LCS stage except for show matches where I solo kill Febivin at MSI. And Kobe tries to gank top lane.
Classic Phreak.
Gotta find ways to compliment myself at all times. Gonna be pulled on a Dardoch though and forced to ulti away. Nice hook by Xpecial.
All right. Let's toggle Fog of War one time real quick because we can look at it from the Team Liquid perspective. They're actually getting a pick of their own here.
All right, flash out.
Just give people an idea how scary it is to play an early game team when you're behind like this. They have no vision outside of the secondary turrets here. They barely have a couple defensive wards, very shallow in their own jungle.
Yeah.
And that's why Phoenix1 are continually just free pushing all lanes at once, which increases their gold lead and allows them to make plays. So it makes it very difficult. That's why we always get into this point where it's hard coming up with those counterplays for the team on the receiving end, basically. And step number 1 is almost always get that defensive vision back in your own jungle so you can even set up a play. They're trying to do it on the red side because that's where Baron's going to come up, and even though it's early in the game, Phoenix1 kind of snowballing out of control.
Yeah, they really are. It's just so difficult. You mentioned the vision stuff. The only 2 camps in their own jungle that TL can see is their red buff and their Raptors, and everything else is basically Fog of War. So much of that map is difficult to walk through. 6.5k the lead. Cocoon hits Dardoch. He hits Dance for a second. Goes back.
Taliyah wall makes this very scary. Fighting over a red buff, like we said, this is not really secure.
Ooh, he lands it with the axe toss. Dardoch smites it as well. So gets the red buff for himself. Nicely played over the wall. Finder gold swing for that. Plus the red buff. Nicely played.
Count your blessings, man. The small victories do matter at this point.
Yeah, they do. Let's see if more can come through. Is equal level to MikeYeung. Top lane -1, mid lane equal, bot lane equal, support -1. So only 2 total levels apart for TL. Again, gold 6.5k is meaningful though. Dardoch getting pushed up the jungle once again. Ulti and Ghost though both back up. Top lane tier 2 siege begins. TL are only an Ocean Drake away from being perfect gamed right now. I mean, this is P1 really in absolute control.
Piglet.
Ooh, good cleanse gets rid of both of them. That's why you bring on Summoner Spell.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty decent reaction time, but definitely wanted to hold on to that one for a team fight. Now they're going on a chase, though. Can they stun MikeYeung?
They're hoping to get it. The Chain of Corruption, though, across this one. The damage and the arrow. Elise comes by, and he's going to get the kill. The flash is too late for Piglet, but it's chased back by Dardoch. Now a 1-for-1. The chase continues onto MikeYeung. The hook as well into Dardoch. Do they have the damage? No, Taliyah shows up, and Mike's going to live. And Dardoch now on the wrong side. Explosive cast. Lourlo finishes the job. 2 for 2 in this fight as the rest of the team walks away.
Oh man, Ryu has had a couple of those clutch heals from the mid lane on Taliyah, getting in just in time. This time around, Lourlo does secure the kill. Dardoch has been running for a while. I believe it's been more than 10 seconds. If he doesn't get hit, he might be able to execute.
He's right there. He's going to look for Ryu, and the 1v1 hook is going to land, and he's got no way out. Going to smite for health, but he doesn't have a way to live. The grass not going to be there for the health, and kill comes through to Ryu, his second of the game.
Team Liquid do get a couple of kills in the little scramble, but again, Phoenix1 chase him down. All right, we'll take another look at how it started out. MikeYeung walks into the brush with the Braum passive on him. Has to back off because he's scared of the rest of the 2 hits. And Arrow buys him some time by going 1v1 there with Piglet. Gives him an opening to actually get the execution. They do both end up dying, but so does Matt. Ryu comes in for the heal to delay this, and Lourlo pours one out for him.
Yep. Preemptively as well. We know
On his
Dardoch
head.
died at the end of that one. Yep. There you go. Have a cask. Now, builds continuing. Piglet going for a single target damage build with a Rage Blade second over the Hurricane. I actually think that's pretty smart. You got to get rid of someone quickly, and he doesn't have the luxury of killing all the tanks at once. So, optimal DPS in this case. Arrow going for a Shiv second as well, so another single target, well, more single target sort of choice. It's also wave clear. Zig, Cleaver done, Titanic also as well, just sat on that null magic you mentioned before, grabs Merc Treads, Stone Plates next up. And of course, MikeYeung going for the more AP-focused build, Leander's Stork Shoes, he's going to be super scary. Ryu the same, Leander's not far away for that champion.
Yeah, we saw what he did to Piglet there to finish off the kill. Arrow got down to maybe half or a little bit under, and easy execution range for the Elise with all that flat magic penetration.
They can find. 6K still the difference. TLP better be a better team fighting comp, but it's going to take them a while to get there. They're still, I would say, behind, even based on champ select. Not even counting the gold, maybe.
Minions again into the base of Team Liquid. Phoenix1 is trying to delay them, keep them out on the map. Worked well for him last game, and Ryu's going to cut him off. Doesn't get the shove.
Damage from Mickey. Hook's going to be onto the front line. Corrupt's going to land on a couple as well. They found the Dardoch, and now Piglet on the wrong side of this one. How much time can Dardoch really buy? And that answer is 0. He's dead for this one, and Lourlo going to be next up. A beautiful ultimate out of Ryu.
Divide and conquer here for Phoenix1. Ryu on the upper side, easily able to separate front and back lines there. And that will be a very simple Baron for them to take. Phoenix1 are absolutely crushing Team Liquid now.
Absolutely agree. Beautiful stuff out of this one. A miss smite by MikeYeung, but it doesn't matter. There was no emphasis or attempt to stop it. And this is 3 straight Barons that have been uncontestable by P1 because of their setup.
Let's look at this again. Xpecial starts it out with the hook. They get the front line cleanly separated here. And oh, now we have a chase down onto Mickey.
He's probably going to die. He almost gets the damage across and actually kites back, and now Piglet going to keep him alive. Ryu kites the blue, gets away. MikeYeung is on the chase, though. Explosive. He's going to be okay. Xpecial cutting back, and no chase to be had. So no harm, no foul, no kill. Top lane 2-2 falls, and here comes the chase in for Dardoch. He wants Arrow, gets the slow. Does he have the damage to solo him out, though? Piglet's going to be coming in soon. And out they go. Capune's going to land. He's got no ult for a few more seconds. Into the front line. Matt takes so much damage, though. Forced to run away. He will maybe stay alive, but Zig, he's got flash. Does he want it? No.
Tower is maybe 1 or 2 hits left there, too. They could try to knock that one down and then keep up the chase. It's an Infernal Dragon out on the map, and all the Baron-empowered recalls go out from Phoenix1. They should be able to grab that objective up first before using this Baron to continue the siege.
Nice for you. Recalls during the back half of the queue.
Multitasking.
It is. That's great to see. Every time I play Tristana, I always recall during rocket jump, like the rings are dislocated. It's actually bad because you get caught and you don't have rocket jump anymore, but it looks cool. And a quick wave clear by Arrow getting back on the map, and yeah, static shift done. Infinity Edge not far away as well, so really going to be super high damage on this one. He will continue to outpace Piglet's damage. Piglet himself about 300 gold shy of his Rage Blade, which he desperately needs. But the problem is P1 have a Baron to push with. The Infernal Drake in here as well. 9,000 gold lead. Yeah, 2 of them. I don't think any itemization in the world is going to save you from this kind of deficit.
Yeah, no better, Drakes for the early game oriented teams as well. So this is all coming up Phoenix1 today.
Yep.
And this is just, as you said in game number 1, very unexpected considering the showings yesterday from both of these teams.
Yeah.
And kind of the dispositions of both teams. But Phoenix1 came to play today. They are not messing around and absolutely bullying Team Liquid all over the map. Phoenix1 want to get out of this tournament.
Yeah, and it's funny too because P1 couldn't even do this during the regular season. They are actually 1-4 in games 0-2 in matches against Liquid. And this was a team that was in the race to keep their championship points and play the regional qualifier for Worlds. And you imagine this form versus TL existed when they played them regular season. We get a couple more match wins. They maybe get 7th place. This could have been a different season for them. Didn't happen, of course. They're down here instead at the bottom of the stable. And they're going to look to knock down this game as the bottom inhibitor falls. 27.5 minutes in. Looking for the next play. 12,000 now the lead as mid lane's the target. Splitting back and forth between these 2 lanes. Of course, Zig can walk over easily enough. split up that Baron buff. 1 minute left on it. And even TL don't have reliable crowd control. It's really only Mickey and Matt they have to play around that closely.
Yeah, I'd say
sometimes. Maybe
the most reliable setup for Team Liquid would be Mickey landing the Syndra stun. You can throw more of those out. It's not the longest cooldown. And then they could try and follow that up with a Lourlo cask and Matt, you know, going in on Braum and the Olaf charge. But even that's not that reliable, right?
It's not that easy. And certainly P1 playing smart around it. There's always a Lantern there for Xpecial.
Oh yeah, the Thresh has actually been critical. A lot of saves.
Absolutely agree. 0-0-6. Alex Trevelyan himself would be proud of how Xpecial's doing.
Nice name dropping.
Thanks, Doug.
Definitely not have remembered that.
I played a lot of GoldenEye 64 back in the day.
So did I.
Yeah.
And I feel like you were a screen watcher.
I was. I definitely was. I'm not gonna lie. I played a lot of Call of Duty back in college. We actually taped cardboard to the monitor and made you sit in like one quadrant of the room.
Yeah, that's pretty classic. I actually felt bad because the one time my dad wanted to play with me and my brother, and we tried to like teach him GoldenEye, we're so competitive, both me and my brother, we couldn't help but like screen watch.
He's like completely a newbie.
Yeah, as soon as he spawned, we knew exactly where he was, and we killed him, and he rage quit in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I would too.
And never wanted to play games with us again.
Remind me to never be your dad.
I do regret that. Yeah. Phreak, you are not my father.
All right, that's true. You're actually
Let's keep it that way.
I'm pretty sure it's never going to go differently. Unless
technology, man, you never know.
Yeah, it's true. You never know. Either way, we've got ourselves a League of Legends game. With a 12,000 gold lead towards Phoenix1.
Phoenix1 slowly becoming Team Liquid's dad.
I like when people on our ears join in the conversation.
Yeah.
And no one else can hear them, so I'm just laughing at nothing. Thanks, Dave.
All right, you can see the pings go down. Exposed inhibitor will be the target. Phoenix1 CG up, and there goes the wall.
And it's going to be there, and the rest of TL actually on the correct side. Someone with a knock-in towards Matt, puts the shield up, hooks in towards Gragas. A nice knock-in as well. Flay brings in Lourlo, and several thousand health now missing from Liquid Squad. Zig just going for the CS per minute record here. He's got more than 10. Same for Ryu, doing well for himself. The record's more than 10, but you know, he's trying.
Oh, here we go. Dardoch coming out of the base. Checker who's on the front door. Team Liquid don't have a lot of time, so we may see them go for that play we talked about. Mickey, Syndra Sun set it all up. They don't have the luxury of waiting for the perfect setup, so kind of anything that lands, they got to pull the trigger.
But unfortunately, every second they wait, more of their buildings fall. Middle inhibitor now left open as well, and that was without Baron. Like, it doesn't get easier. They haven't recalled off that gold yet, Phoenix1. You can see these goals getting farther and farther apart. Pretty much 2,000 plus per roll. Even support has that. There are no individual leads for TL at all. I mean, something miracle.
Yeah, the only thing you can kind of point to for them is Mickey highest CSing the entire game, and he's the only one who hasn't died in the mid lane on Syndra. And it's not like he's been playing super passively or anything, so you know, he at least is doing decently for himself. He lands a great
he's gonna get him! He's dead! No, the locket! The locket came in time! Xpecial once again saving the team. MikeYeung, meanwhile, picks off Piglet. And that is gold values at work right there.
Oh my goodness. Xpecial comes in, Lantern, Locket, and heal from Arrow as well. All keep him alive, even though Mickey lands a good stun over the wall. Meanwhile, other mid laner versus AD carry. This mid laner also brought his jungler, so that's not really fair.
0 skill shots landed, 0 skill shots needed. The damage was simply too much. Baron picked up once again with no chance at all of steals. 4 in a row, P1 was set up cleanly off of their leads, off of their map control. And TL never had a chance. Uh-oh, now Zig, speaking of chances. Oh, he's been slowed down. Lourlo's going to be in range soon for the body slam. Gonna land a slow, which is why it wears off, and Zig just walks away from 3 people.
Where's the team synergy with the Gragas Santa costume to go along with that Braum Christmas one?
Yeah, I know, right?
Unlucky. Dardoch's out of there.
He walks in and then walks away. Nope, he's going to keep walking forward, then gets a cocoon for it. Should have walked away, pops the ulti.
All right, Zig's going to take care of the inhibitor during the top lane shenanigans. 2 more left on it as the minions will try and take care.
And the buildings are falling. The inhibitor turrets are all dead. The inhibitors themselves about to follow as well. A renewed Baron buff makes it even easier. Only the middle inhibitor staying alive. Nice seismic shove. Matt didn't see it coming. There's the chains as well. He's not going to have the health bar. MikeYeung getting his 7th kill of the game. He's only missed out on 1.
All right, now it's done.
Yep.
And now it is a Baroned up 3 lanes of super minions that will be spawning. P1 in the base. They might end it before the super minions even arrive. Nope, just kidding. All the recalls come out. Power Rangers retreat.
We're going to come back and fill the Megazord, and we'll come in and hope to win the game by them. Grab the dinosaurs, put them in. Who is your favorite?
Honestly, I didn't really have a favorite one.
Really? Okay. I mean, I had a crush on the Pink Ranger.
I think I disliked Red.
Really?
I don't know why.
Huh.
Maybe because I was like a little hipster when I was like 10 or something. But I just did not like the Red guy.
I think I disliked Green because he was a bad guy, and even though he converted, it was just like...
You never trusted him, huh, Phreak?
I feel like I never did.
Phreak, he forgives but never forgets?
Yep.
Is that it?
It's actually the reverse. I'll forget but never forgive. I'll be mad at you and not know why. That's how it goes. It's a really bad way to go about life, but that's my mantra.
Great. That's where all the... It actually is very enlightening. That's where all the Phreak rage comes from. Like, you just randomly just be talking trash about me in the morning at like 9 a.m. I'm like, what?
I don't know.
Now I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
You did something back in the day.
Yeah.
Neither of us remember. You beat me in solo queue that one time, back when I was as good as you, and I just never forgot about it.
Oh!
Ooh, nice try, but the minions get in the way and hook onto Matt. He's going to fall right away. 1-0. MikeYeung on a rampage. Back-to-back 4-kill streaks, now his 5th. He knocks down Lourlo, and health bar just falling left and right. Zig pops the Stoneblade, he tries to run away, and Piglet not going to have the damage. He will, however, have the health bar go down to 0. 1 kill finally gets traded back, but it's just the 1, just the only, and Nikki gonna fall down. The ears are gonna get pulled right off, and it's gonna be 5 for 2. P1 helping to knock down the Nexus. 2-0 to start the series. 1 more in the offseason can begin in earnest. P1 gonna go 2-0 in the promotion tournament over Liquid.
And that one is going to do a lot for team morale as well. Not only are they just 1 victory away from winning this promotion tournament, but they also kind of destroy Team Liquid here, who are going to have a full reset. I know, refocus. The reverse sweeps are very common, actually, in the promotion tournament. So definitely got to keep their heads up and regroup for game number 3.
Yeah, there have been several. We know Liquid are good enough players to make it happen. The question is, can they hold up against a surging Phoenix1? They certainly looked better today than they have for most of the split. I think they like peaked at Rift Rivals and played really well.
I was going to say, that was in the split.
I know.
Rift Rivals, they looked really good.
I know, and like I said, for most of it. In Rift Rivals, it looked good, and they came back and plummeted back to Earth, and I think they ended with like 4 match wins, or maybe 5, I forget exactly, but it certainly wasn't good. They were 0-2 matches to Liquid, and if this were regular season, they would have 2-0'd them right here. This would be over if it were a regular season match. Something they could not do all split long, and yet here it looked easy. You know, it's a very almost unlucky time to peak. You'd hope the regular season would have been that. They get a few more wins, but at the very least, they're winning here, and they've only got 1 more to go. All
right. Well, MikeYeung actually did the most damage as jungle Elise in this game because of the amount of ganks that he was actually getting off. So definitely impressive game by him. But we still have to talk about, you know, Arrow and Ryu, the 2 carries of this team, the imports that everybody always likes to talk about, have been very, very solid. And Ryu at one point, you know, during this split, he also took a break, and Arrow was having his ups and downs as well. So, you know, you talk about kind of peaking. It's actually, to me, just feels like they're finding consistency maybe now, finally.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because we talked about all this during the regular season as well. We've seen P1 and TL for the entire year. Phoenix1 were the defending 3rd-place team, and they ostensibly upgraded their lineup. MikeYeung coming in, really hot prodigy coming in, looked very good for a while. Then he kind of fell off towards the end, trying to find some comfort. Xpecial, you'd argue, has to have been better than Shady or Stunt was overall, and you know, this squad started looking pretty good. When Xpecial came in, his roams were really good. He's actually looked good here as well. And yet, despite having, you know, an arguably upgraded roster from a 3rd-place team, they instead became like a 10th-place team, and it was very, you know, unusual seeing that. But it was just, as you mentioned, like, you know, they never really found consistency. They looked good occasionally, but rarely.
Part of that also is that Phoenix1 very often will go more early game oriented compositions, and we kind of talked earlier about how in the meta right now those are less reliable. So merely maybe by the playstyle that they choose to go for, you do see a lot more of that coming out. They are finding success here. But it could very well still be kind of hiding in the shadows, basically.
Sure.
As if you look at the team comps that we have here, Elise, Renekton, even Taliyah can like make early plays. And then we did talk about the Varus and Thresh, early laning as well. So it's still holding true.
They did a good job with it. And let's bounce over to Liquid a little bit and talk about what's going on with them, because they have twice in a row gone for the Protect Piglet comps. And, yesterday they just had Tristana and then won the game in 30 minutes because they were smashing everywhere. In this one, they are getting run over in the first 15. So, let's talk about Liquid and what they need to do to actually shape things up.
I really did think that Piglet looked better when he had a mobility spell on his AD carry. So, I see the theory behind Kog'Maw, and I just think it takes a little bit more coordination. But you're talking about the early game, and that's not even becoming an issue. So they have to focus more on the early game. You can talk as much about theory as the way that you want to win the game as much as you want, but if you can't get past step number 1, then there's not really that big point.
Yeah, well, we'll see what comes through in this one. You can see Steve and the rest of the squad and the audience. We'll see if something comes through, but we are going to step away for a short break. However, when we come back, we will see if Phoenix1 can close out that series in Game 3, or if Liquid bounce back. Don't go anywhere. The series continues after this short break.